everyone, it's Lindsay and welcome back to my channel. Oop, just got an email. Every time my email goes off, I'm like, did I get a book deal? The freaking horoscope update. Well, you know what? Moon and stars. I would really like a book deal. So a couple weeks ago, I asked you guys on Instagram and YouTube what kind of questions you would have for me because I wanted to do a 2K celebration Q&A. I feel really blessed right now because I feel like a lot of good things have happened, like boom, 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 boom. So yeah, I hit 2,000 subscribers, which is so exciting. Thank you guys so much. I love each and every one of you. And yeah, so I have a lot of questions, so I'm just gonna dive right in. First question says, do you think the revision from the R&R helped you get an agent? Yes, I actually do. Sometimes I wonder, I'm like, okay, like it really sucked that that R&R got rejected last summer, but I'm like, what if the changes that I made from that R&R are what drew in the agent that signed me? Like those are the things that she loved that made her offer to me. So yeah, I do think it helped me get an agent. And even if it didn't, even if Samantha loved another part that I had beforehand, I do think I ended up with a stronger book after the R&R. How are the animal babies doing now that they have a soon-to-be published author for a mom? Trisha, you tease. Can we see the fur babies? I had to ask. Yes, I will insert a clip of all of my little fur babies. They're all doing great.
This is Maximus. You know, he's kind of ugly, but we love him anyway. This is Wiener. Her name's Rowena, but we started calling her Wiener, and now, you know, the 30% of the time cats actually answer to their names, it's Wiener. So we have a very dignified cat with a phallic name. And this is my Begonia. We're not gonna judge her, okay? She's molting right now and she's got banana all over her face, but we love her. We stand a Begonia queen. Okay, that's all her gets. We don't want her to get too fat. Just a little fat, but not much fat.
All the babies are doing great. Are you planning on going to the Renaissance Fair this year? I would love to. I hope I get to. If you guys didn't know this, I'm like a huge nerd. Like I'm one of those people that like dresses to the T when they go to the Renaissance Festival. I love it. It's my ultimate state. What is your fave thing to put on hot Cheetos? Listen, if you have never tried putting Frank's hot sauce on your Flamin' Hot Cheetos, trust me, it takes them to the next level. Just open the bag, dump a whole bunch of hot sauce, shake it up. Woo! 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 You'll thank me, trust me. Do you have a Patreon? And if not, would you make one? So no, I don't have a Patreon. I'm open to the idea maybe one day, but right now I don't feel like I have like content to give you, like incentives to make people sign up. Like I just feel kind of bad like asking for money when I don't have much to offer. I got a lot of questions that are kind of like, how do you leave behind self-doubt? How do you stay so joyful? How do you, like, you know, defeat imposter syndrome? So I'm going to combine all of those together here. I think the main way that I'm able to stay so positive through the drafting and revision and querying process is really that even when the book is like crappy and it's in an early draft, every time I read through it, I see it for its potential, not for necessarily what it is. Because like you have to shovel sand in the sandbox to make a castle, right? So I don't see it for what it is, I see it for what it could be. And like each draft that you write gets closer and closer to that dream idea of what the book could be. So I always see the process as like stepping stones, and that's how I stay positive, because I'm like, oh, I'm one step closer and I'm one step closer. Also about like beating imposter syndrome, this is gonna sound really woo-woo, but I feel like I was meant to be a writer. Like there's like just a lot of woo-woo signs in my life. I'm just like, yes, that's it. Like I am on the right path. This is where I'm supposed to be. I've had a lot of things just like reaffirm that idea. So, and I think even if maybe you don't believe that, it's a good thing to just think in your mind, because then it's like you can't fail because it's destined, it's written in the stars that you're gonna be an author. So every time you fail, you're just like, oh, it's just a hiccup, because I gotta get to that goal. Like that's fate, right? How much say do you have in the marketing of your book after a publishing deal? You know, book cover, overall aesthetic. So I think this would depend like on the individual publisher, but I do know from most of the people that I talked to, they were consulted about what they had in mind for their cover, usually like color schemes and different ideas. So you are involved. I don't think that you have the final say. Obviously, like marketing professionals know what sells and they want to sell the book. So it's not like self-publishing where you just get to decide all on your own, but I think you do have a good amount of input. I also got a lot of questions on building an agent list, how to, where to start, things like that. I do have an agent organization video that I can link you to that might be helpful. I'll put it in the cards or down below. But the place that I start, the easiest thing to do was just go to your bookshelf and flip to the back, look at the acknowledgements, and usually an author will thank their agent. And then you can go to that agency online and look at all of the agents that are there. It's kind of like a snowball effect. Like once you discover one agent you like, you look at their agency, you discover more agents at that agency, and it just kind of goes from there. What drew you to middle grade? Middle grade is where I fell in love with reading. It's also where I fell in love with writing. But it has my heart. It's so warm, it's so nostalgic. And I really think that middle grade made me who I am and like made me a writer. Like I write the way that I do because of the books that I read when I discovered middle grade. What experience have you had that wouldn't have been possible without Authortube? Well, this is like a super exciting question. So in 2019, I got to go to BookNet Fest. I was asked to be a guest panelist there, and that was amazing. I never would have gotten to do that and like fly to Florida, and I never would have gotten to do any of that if it weren't for Authortube. When did you start writing? I wrote my first book when I was 12. I actually have a video that's like my last decade of writing, and you can kind of see like all of the books that I wrote before I started my Authortube channel. It was a mess. It was fine. What motivates you to write? I just really love stories. And I love the emotions that stories bring. When I get to read them and I just have like this visceral like impact, whether it's good or like, you know, scary or whatever the type of book the emotion, you know, is supposed to be elected. I just love that. And I love the idea of giving another person that experience, because those experiences are like what got me through some of my hardest times, or, you know, just kept me happy. Like reading is such an escape for me. It's kept me sane a lot of the time. So yeah, I want to be able to give someone what someone gave me. Do you have a day job you have to work around, and how do you balance writing with all of your other work, tasks, relationships, etc.? So no, I am actually disabled. I unfortunately cannot work at this time, and so no, I don't have a job that I do have to work around, but I do have to work around my disability, which is a 9-to-5 thing. I really find that balance is not a destination, it's like a daily task. Like you have to work for balance, and not everything is going to be perfectly like 10%, 10%, 10%, you know. Some days my health needs 90% of what I can allow and my writing gets 10. Other days I have a really good health day and my writing gets 90%. And I think overall, as long as, you know, weekly you have a semblance of balance, no matter what each individual day is, I feel satisfied with that. I feel like that's balance to me. But it is definitely something that I struggle with. But I do think since I've changed my mindset of balance isn't a destination, it's like a daily struggle, right? That I have made peace with that, and I'm a lot more kind to myself, and I actually work a lot better because I'm not as stressed. Once signed, does an agent ever look at past books you've done that didn't land you an agent you might have written? They do look at past books. So my agent is interested in looking at When the Sea Came for Us one day, which is very exciting because I love that book very much. I gotta fix it though, it's a little broken. Is your new representation only for the story you queried or for other books? Yes, so my agent is now, like, she's hopefully gonna be my agent for life. She will represent everything that I write from here on out. During the agent phone call / during the query process, did you ever talk about your Authortube channel? So in my query, I do mention that I have an Authortube channel, but on the actual phone call, we really didn't discuss it. I think she knew about it, but it just never came up. During the query process agent phone call, did you discuss health things that might impact your ability to meet deadlines? Kind of, like, we kind of skipped around the topic. I wrote in my query that I am a disabled author, so my agent knew right away that there might, you know, be some times when I'm not as available as others. And she was very open to still working with me and you know, treating me like a human being. And when we were talking about like deadlines and such, she always said health permitting, you know, within your allowance and things like that. So we kind of talked about it, but not really. If someone wanted to get started in the Authortube community, how would you recommend going about it? Well, I would say just do it. It's a great community. I've made so many friends. I love it here so much. And my advice would be to comment on other people's videos. Like don't make your little insular circle and never break out of it. Make sure you're commenting on other people's videos and watching their lives. That's how I made all of my friends, is literally I would comment on someone's video every time they would post, and then they started recognizing who I was and they started commenting on my videos, and then sooner or later someone slid into someone else's DMs, and now like I have friends that I've actually hung out with in real life from Authortube, which is like the coolest experience ever. So someone asked what my writing routine looks like, and I don't really have a writing routine. My day-to-day is just so different because it just all depends on my health and what I can do, and depending on how much pain I am in per day really decides if I can write or what time of day I write. So it's all over the place. But on a perfect day, I would love to wake up early in the morning and start writing by 9 or 10 and write till about 3. That would be like my perfect writing day. It happens very rarely. Okay, so here too I have a couple more asking about query or agent organization, or where I began with that, how to build a list, and I'm just going to direct you to that video. It's so much easier to do that because then I actually have like pictures and diagrams in my Excel spreadsheet, so you can really see how that works. So I feel like I can answer that question with a lot more justice if you watch that. How long did it take you to research your agent? Honestly, about 20 minutes. When I query, I spend about 20 minutes completely stalking the agent. I look for if they have a website. I look for their Twitter, their publisher marketplace. That's about it. So about 20 minutes per agent. You must tell us where you got your glasses chain. Well, thank you for liking it. I got this one off of Etsy. I love glasses chain. Anything that makes me look like a grandma, I'm like totally down for. What's your favorite chip dip? Okay. Oh, this is so hard. I'm gonna say, no, I can't choose. Okay, I like buffalo chicken dip if it's really spicy. Like it has to be really spicy, like lots of Frank's hot sauce. But I really like guac too. It's so subtle. Lainey asked what my favorite Bridgerton character is, and okay, I'm a little bit more removed from it. I've calmed down quite a bit, but in January, Bridgerton took over my life. I watched it through twice. I read the book. Well, I read most of the book. I ended up DNFing because it's a little more problematic than the show. But like, oh my gosh, I love it so much. So my favorite character is Lady Davenport, the just amazing queen that she is. There is a scene where she talks about how she was like self-conscious when she was younger, and to combat that she said she made herself the most terrifying creature in the room, and like that is the energy that Lindsay needs going into 2021. What's your favorite plant? Okay, like I really like the cow plant from The Sims. Shoe size, please. I'm a size 7. How many words was your manuscript? So the Glass Witch was 36K. How many drafts did you do before the final one you sent out? The Glass Witch had 4 drafts. And then the R&R I consider a 5th draft. So 4 before I queried, 5 before I got an agent. Snow, yay or nay? There is only one correct answer. Oh my gosh. Okay, well now I'm scared because I love snow. Like I could live in snow. Let me tell you, I am so cold-blooded that even when it was like 17 degrees outside and there was 12 inches of snow here a couple weeks ago, I was outside on the back porch in my pajamas, no socks, and like meditating. I hope you don't hate me because I love the snow. Best writing advice you ever had? I think the best writing advice I've had is to expect rejection in this industry as a rite of passage. And I think if you go into it with that mindset, when you start getting rejections, it'll be not so detrimental to your mental health. And also it'll be a little encouraging, like, yes, like I'm in, like I've got my foot in the door, like I'm getting started, you know. Every big author that everyone loves has got rejected at some point. So you're just like them, you're following in their footsteps. And I think if you look at rejection at any level, from a beta read, critique partner, a review on a book, like if you just see it as a stepping stone or rite of passage, then I think that you will be a lot more mentally healthy. Favorite drafting tip. Okay, this one's funny. So my friend in real life, she's not an author or anything, but she says all the time, "Pop on stool," which I guess means butt in chair. And she says it all the time just for like motivation for getting things done even when you don't want to. So drafting sometimes gets really tedious and you don't feel like doing it, but sometimes you just gotta get your papa and stool and get it done. My critique partner. Am I your favorite ever? Yes, Jessica, you are my favorite ever. And then she said, what genre could you never write in? I actually took some time to think about this because I wasn't sure. But I think the genre that I'm least likely to write in is anything that's like heavy military fiction. I don't like that. I don't enjoy reading it. I know I wouldn't enjoy writing it. I would write something like a Western or erotica even before I dip my toes into military stuff. Like that's just not my jam. Favorite childhood author? Barbara Park with the Judy B. Jones series. This is the book series that as a kid made me discover my love of stories. I loved it so much. I can't even pick one because like I freaking love Lemony Snicket as well. This was like the first series that I was super obsessed with as a kid. And then I don't know if you can even see, but like whoop, way up there I have a whole Harry Potter shelf. It's a thing, you know, we don't need to talk about the author, but I mean, they were very instrumental in who I am as a person and a writer and a reader. Did you end up adjusting your query or first pages while querying before signing? So no, I actually didn't. The query letter and the first pages, everything stayed the same through the entire process. With When the Sea Came For Us, my first novel though, I'll talk about this later when I compare my query that got me an agent to like the first book I tried to query and that query, but I ended up changing that first query like 75% of the way through my query list, and my request rate went up like 36%, which was really sad because I had already shot my shot. What was the meanest rejection from querying or the weirdest? I don't have like a mean rejection, not from querying anyway. I had a situation we'll talk about where I won a free critique from an editor, and yeah, that was the rudest the rudest experience I've ever had in this industry. But there was no rejection that was really mean. I had a couple that were like kind of gut punchy. Like my very first rejection I ever got I got in 7 minutes. The weirdest was probably when it was actually on a full request, which is even worse, but I had an agent send me a form rejection on a full request, and she had forgotten to copy and paste the title of my book into the form. So when I got the form rejection, it had the last person who she rejected with that form's book title in there. And I was like, this is not my book. Someone asked what my favorite snack is while writing, and I actually don't snack while I write, but I always have to have some water with me, and I'm usually drinking tea or coffee. How many different agents did you query? Did you re-query the same agent with different projects? Yes, a lot of the agents that I queried with The Glass Witch had already been queried with my first book. I would have to tally it up. I have not done my query stat video yet, and I haven't even done the stats for myself, but I'm sure I've queried like 60 agents, and most of them multiple times. And the last question says, what was an unexpected question you were asked on the call? Oh, well, yeah, the only unexpected question I really had, because I really tried to prepare, right? I had like a list of questions and a bunch of answers to questions that my agent could possibly ask me. But the unexpected one I got was Samantha asked how comfortable I would be with turning The Glass Witch into a series, like if an editor really wanted that. And I wasn't expecting that because The Glass Witch in my mind is a standalone, and in the query I pitched it as a standalone. So I wasn't expecting that question, but I told her I was open to it. I mean, like, I did leave some little hints that could work as a series. And I mean, if an editor loved it enough to be like, I want a series of this, like that would be super cool. So I would be open to it. But that was like definitely an unexpected question. I think I got to everybody's questions. I tried to combine the ones that were really similar, just, you know, for time's sake. Thank you guys so much for asking all these questions. This was really fun. I'm so excited I get to celebrate having 2,000 subscribers with you guys. It's been an amazing journey and I'm having so much fun just like hanging out with you guys on the weekly. It's great. If you have any other questions below, you can leave a comment and I will do my best to answer. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.